Guys, sidebar conversations, please.
All right. What about
I've told you this is like, this is like the 5th time I've told you that, right?
Sixth time.
Like, stop. For real, like, stop.
He mean as fuck.
You've been doing it the whole show. I'm not mean as fuck. I just have rules. Simple.
All right, go ahead.
It's podcast.
Damn.
What I look for in a man in the club that's like approaching me.
Hold on. Excuse me?
You mean?
I'm not mean at all.
Okay, I don't care.
Have you been here the whole time?
No.
All right, then. So you don't know what was happening,
I don't
right?
give a fuck.
Okay, then. So how you going to come on somebody's show, not know what go down, and say, oh, you're mean?
It don't matter. I can say what I want.
Okay, well, you can get the fuck off the show, too.
I don't give
Man,
a fuck.
Get off the show, too.
Man.
What?
He's hot. I'm calm.
No, I'm very calm, but it's like, bro, you got to show a little bit of respect on the platform.
It's cool,
respect.
bro.
You talking about
Chill.
shit. I say you mean. It is what it is. What the fuck you want me to say?
That's
You
not the truth,
mean,
though.
You mad about I saying mean? You grown as hell.
What?
Yeah, well.
Okay. We're from Myron is Freshina. Okay. We got no sat down. Shimmy all the girls look busted. You up? All right, later.
Black dating app called Black.
Oh, it's funny. I never used that one, bro. But hey, man.
I mean, hey, bro, if you want to date a bunch of Shaniquas, go for it, man.
LaQuisha.
Yeah, like me and Fresh aren't really down with the brown like that.
Man.
We ain't night riders.
Nah,
so
bro, I'm good.
Sometimes if they're red bone, but like in general, me and Fresh don't dabble in the dark. If you know what I'm saying.
Yep.
Okay.
So in this video, I want to give my opinion on the Fresh and Fit Asian doll situation, but more so their response to the backlash, because there were many things that I observed in that particular podcast that I want to discuss. Now, based on what some of you are saying, the guy that got smart with Asian doll, he gets impatient with all of his female guests. I don't know if that's true because I don't watch the show. And personally, I am glad that Asian doll didn't fly off the handle. But if I were her, one, I wouldn't have gone on the show. But I will say that maybe she wasn't aware of their history because it's not like they're big time podcasters. But then again, Asian doll may have known their history and just did not care because she herself has been known to make colorist remarks about dark skinned women. So maybe she didn't care. It's really hard to tell with her. It could go either way. But I wouldn't have cursed him out. I would have just walked off because it is his show. But just like I said in one of my recent videos, I think the most important takeaway from this whole thing, specifically for Black women, is that a lot of the red pill men online, or men with red pill talking points, even if they don't identify with being red pill, they're very hostile towards women. And the Black red pill men especially are hostile towards Black women in particular because they don't like us for whatever reason. Maybe there's some resentment there because they feel rejected by Black women. And be clear, not the unambiguous dark-skinned Black woman, but it's usually the light-skinned Black women and the mixed women that they feel rejected by and they have resentment for, and they just take it out on all Black women. Because as we heard them say out of their own mouths, they don't even like Black women. A red bone, maybe, but they definitely don't like dark-skinned Black women. And they try to assert their dominance, especially with Black women. And this is why I say, Black women, you need to stay away from these men online and especially in person if you find out they listen to this kind of content, because they have too many hangups with women and especially Black women. And I'll be honest with you, I am so detached at this point that I no longer care who Black men want romantically. Black women, we really do have more options out here outside of Black men. And I think if Black women realize that, they truly would not care as much who these men are dating. And that is what bothers me now. Not who Black men are dating, not that they don't want Black women or dark-skinned women, but that it's so many Black women who still care. And I just want to help Black women stop making a fool of themselves. I want to help them stop going on their shows, giving them content, making them rich, while they basically tell you to your face over and over and over again that they don't want you. I mean, you look stupid. Even if you think you don't look stupid, you really do. And I've said this several times about the Black women who call into Kevin Samuel's show. At this point, I really think Black women either like being humiliated or your self-esteem is so low that you don't know you look foolish, or either you just don't care. And as long as you're getting attention from Black men in some type of way, you're happy. But it's extremely embarrassing, and even more embarrassing to see Black women defending their behavior. Black men would never support any Black woman who said that they didn't date Black men and then proceeded to call them night riders and talk about how they don't play in the dark. If a black woman podcaster said that on air, she would not have any black male guests. It just would not happen. And that's the thing about black men. They may fight with each other about different things, but that is one thing they stay on code with. They do not support black women swirlers, divestors, or any black woman who says they exclusively date non-black men for any reason, especially if they call black men derogatory names. They are not going to support those women at all. And this is why what Fresh and Fit said about how people react to their preference or men's preferences versus how people react to women's preferences is bullshit.
When it comes to dating and your personal preferences,
It's
no
an
one
issue.
bats an eye. When women say, I want a man that's 6 feet tall, makes a certain amount of money, blah, 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 those are considered preferences. But if I say, hey, man, I don't date black girls like that. Oh, God.
You hate black women.
How dare you?
You know what I'm saying? It's
Sorry.
ridiculous.
This is a very common response and lie from black men especially that I think most black women don't pick up on. Black men do care about your preferences, and I don't know why they keep lying about it. Kevin Samuels' entire platform is pushback to black women's preferences for high value men and pushback to our desire to marry hypergamously. He says his platform is for high value men and to get black men to become high value men, but we all know that his platform isn't really to do that. It's to convince above average earning black women especially to keep dating and marrying and dealing with average and below average men, buying them gifts, spoiling them, treating them like they're the prize. Him and his following are telling black women to choose better and stop choosing low value, dusty men to have children with, but they're simultaneously telling black women, oh, this is all you can get, you can't do any better, you're too undesirable, you're average at best, and if you make more and you want your equal, you're a gold digger, right? His entire platform is a reaction to black women's preference for high value men. And Fresh and Fit know that, yet he sat up there on his platform and said that men don't say anything about women's preferences, and black women are actually letting them get away with it. It is crazy to me. The manosphere also consistently complains about black women having a preference for quote unquote lame black men or nerdy black men, and only one in Pookie and Ray Ray and the thugs. They are literally online hurt and harassing black women because they don't feel preferred, yet they're telling you that they don't care about our preferences. Issa Rae, she also got pushback from black men for satirically telling black women to date Asian men. Godfrey, he had a meltdown about black women merely being promoted with white men on a billboard. When that black woman, I think she was a wrestler or something, when she came out and said she didn't want black men or their babies because non-black men make cuter babies, black men had a meltdown online once again. Even Serena Williams, they constantly get pushback from marrying white men. And neither of them, to my knowledge, has said anything bad about black men. So black women, stop letting black men tell you that they don't care about your preferences. They are lying. The reason why they aren't as vocal about preferences as black women is because black women don't consistently say that we don't date black men or we don't date broke men. We generally say the exact opposite. We talk about how we only prefer black men and how money doesn't matter. And if we dare to say the opposite, y'all are somewhere online crying about it, talking about you average at best and you ugly and you don't deserve it. And they're so used to us preferring them and accepting them at their worst that we don't even have to say anything bad about black men for them to feel slighted. All you have to do is date non-black men or state your preference for non-black men. So black men need to be honest about that too. It doesn't really matter if black women who date interracially disrespect black men or not. Ultimately, they want to be the black woman's preference, even if they don't prefer black women back. And I'll say this as well. Most black women want to be chosen by black men too. It doesn't matter if black men disrespect black women or not. They want to be the preference. Nobody is being honest. Everybody wants to be a preference and they complain when they're not. This is not exclusive to one particular group. Now, let's address some of the false comparisons that Fresh and Fit and their panelists made about gender preferences in their response video.
I wouldn't say it's hate. It's a preference. It's just like how they ask us, what's our preference with guys? And we say 6 feet. We like tall guys with muscles. Will we talk to a guy that's 5 feet? No. Will we talk to a broke guy? No. Does that mean that we're gold diggers because we wouldn't talk to a guy that don't have money? No, that's just our preference.
And this is what I mean by black women going on this show embarrassing themselves. I don't know if the black woman who was defending Fresh and Fit realizes this, but they do call us gold diggers for wanting men with money, sis, especially black women. So you're defending their hypocrisy. And black women, we do this a lot. We try to equalize everything. We try to be fair and balanced. And I am guilty of this. I used to try to be fair and balanced as well. Until until I realized that this shit is not equal. Women preferring tall men or non-black men or high-value men and black men preferring non-black women cannot be equalized. First of all, we know that men prioritize looks more than women. Women will negotiate on looks more than men because we tend to choose them based on multiple factors. We're not going to sit here and act like women, and especially black women, are only choosing and lusting after tall men with muscles and men with money. We know that is not true. When we look at the variety of black men that black women man-stroke and put on a pedestal, not all of them are tall. Many of them are average and below in height and looks. Black women are notorious for dating broke men. The pick-me's online, they're popping up everywhere, and they're caping for average and below average black men. They're caping for incels, the black red pill incels. So that says it all. The online landscape really says it all. Where are all the channels of black men defending black women and holding other black men accountable? And if you find one, there are probably 6 to 10 more pick-me's who are pandering to black men, telling them everything they want to hear and criticizing black women. Also, you don't see black women influencers and celebrities popping up every other week talking about how they don't date black men, they don't date night riders, they don't play in the dark. And if we did see that from black women, they would be harassed. They would be canceled by the entire community, black women included. So no, the shit is not equal. One gender, black women, has a preference for what largely exists inside the black community, and the other, black men, they don't. So again, it just cannot be compared. There is a desirability imbalance in the black community, what I've referred to for years as lopsided desirability and man-stroking. While most black women will happily man-stroke and get with everyday, unambiguous black men, most black men are colorist and they don't prefer everyday, unambiguous black women. They tell you all the time. They'll sleep with you. They'll even have babies with you. And they'll tell you all the time that they don't prefer dark-skinned women. Lil Wayne did it after he had a dark-skinned daughter. Kevin Hart did it. Neo did it. They tolerate dark-skinned black women and they'll take you because you will accept them when they're broke, and when they get enough money they move on to their real preference, which is usually light-skinned women, mixed women, non-black women. And it doesn't matter if they're average or not. That's usually the women they prefer, and we know that's what they prefer because statistically they marry light-skinned women first if they marry at all. And when I say light-skinned women, we know that a lot of these women are actually mixed women who aren't even black, but they identify as black. So that creates an imbalance. Black men also have an advantage in the dating market because they have more women to choose from. Black women outnumber black men. They date out more than us. And because most black women are hell-bent on finding love with the black man, instead of expanding our options like they do, we will wait for that black man. So they have a dating advantage. You don't see black women constantly expressing their preference for non-black men and even light-skinned men. So because of all these different factors, gender preferences cannot be equalized, especially with black women. Now, something else Fresh and Fit said that I want to address is when they talked about how no one would care if they said they didn't prefer non-black women.
If we had said, we don't date Latinas, or we don't date white girls, or we don't date Asian girls, no one would bat an eye. But if we say, you know what, man, we just don't prefer black girls. Oh, God, that's racist.
Yeah.
No, it is not.
Now, first of all, we have seen, even though the examples are rare, we have seen celebrity black men uplifting black women and non-black women get in their feelings. I remember, I think it was LeBron James. He made some type of tribute to black women on his Instagram and non-black women had a fit. And the reason we don't see that as much from non-black women is because black men don't usually do that. So they're making all of these comparisons talking about what non-black women wouldn't do and how they wouldn't be upset if black men said this and said that. Y'all don't say it. So how do you know? You barely say it. So it's like, I hate that black women are just letting them get away with these lies. When Bill Burr roasted white women got upset. I did a video on it. So this is not just a black woman thing. Also, most Latinas, most white women, I think it's safe to assume that they wouldn't care who black men prefer or if they didn't prefer them, because on average, they don't prefer black men. And see, this is part of the delusion that black men have when it comes to non-black women. The media, as well as all the man-stroking of black men that black women participate in, they really do think they're the most desirable men on earth. That's why Antonio Brown just came out and said that he was a chocolate man, so he was the most wanted man on earth, or something like that, he said. So they think they have access to everybody. And I'm not trying to be mean, but I did notice that the non-black women who were defending Fresh and Fit on their podcast were women who would be considered bottom shelf shelf to the men of their race. So they know that the only place they can get a pedestal is in the black community with black men. And I've told you guys this before, but they will gladly take it. All of that black and brown sisterhood with black women and all of that, you know, we're all women that white women do with feminism and all that. It goes right out of the window when they're being elevated over black women. They basically start repeating what black men say. Oh, it's just a preference. It's not that serious. They can like who they like. One preference on the show in particular was also very masculine and aggressive towards the dark-skinned black woman who was disrespected, the one who was sitting next to Asian Doll.
Please let me
That's
finish.
very misleading.
Look at you doing it again, my nigga.
finish.
Like, shut the fuck up.
Oh,
Shut the fuck up. Listen. This nigga's talking. Listen. Like, shut the fuck up. You've been doing it this whole entire time.
Okay. Did you guys bring her here to fight?
Simply put, it's cool, Icy. It's cool. It's cool. It's cool.
I said shut the fuck up.
Okay.
I said shut the
Then
fuck
why
up.
did you get mad when Asian? Then why did you get mad when Asian Doll said it? Why did you get mad when Asian Doll said it?
Wait, hold up.
Then why'd you bring me on this fucking podcast if I gotta shut up? That makes no fucking sense.
But you're not.
That makes no sense. That's why he brought
It's
you
not
here.
Myron and it's not Fresh. I'm a female just like you, and I'm letting you know you need to shut the fuck up and listen to what they're telling you.
And let's be honest, we have seen a lot of light-skinned women, a lot of mixed women who are just as aggressive as this one, just as masculine, but I rarely ever hear black men call them that. Their attitudes are spicy. Their masculinity is spicy. And when it comes to us, they either call us men or they call us Shaniquas. And Fresh and Fit also let a non-black woman come on the show and say the N-word.
Now, I came on this platform last time. I said a word that literally I am getting. Oh, if you guys literally went on my thing earlier today, I had a whole thing, a whole story poll with questions asking, like, how do you guys feel about me being light-skinned, saying the word nigga in a not see, I can't feel even uncomfortable even saying it right now because of like bro, literally. So people started saying like, oh, you need to know the history about it. All right, I'm Jewish. All right, if you guys know a little bit about history,
You're white.
I'm Jewish Hispanic actually. Hola, ¿cómo están? Hablo español. Vayamos a la plaza, tomémonos un mate. אני גם מדברת עברית. את רוצה okay, like bro, I am not white. You guys are all racist literally because you saw me as white skinned, bro. Whoever made those comments about me saying nigga, bro, nigga, you fucking racist as shit, not me. All right, so literally because I am a certain color, I literally am not allowed to say a whole fucking word.
And now, could you imagine if a black woman content creator allowed a white Hispanic male to come on her show and say the N-word? Could you imagine the responses from the manosphere as well as their pick-me's? I mean, we would see so many videos. But see, this is another example of their hypocrisy. So yeah, most non-black women would not care who they date because most non-black women don't want them. Unfortunately, black women overwhelmingly care who black men date, so you hear from black women the most. The reason this thing went viral is because a black woman celebrity came on their show. And this is the part where I just shake my head because black women have made black men so arrogant that they literally forget who is part of their main audience. And then they just shit all over black women without a care in the world. And you know why? Because we always come back. We continue to manstroke them and stupidly defend their behavior like these black women did on their show. They can say whatever they want about black women, and black women, celebrity black women like Asian Doll, will still carry their ass on the show. We continue to contribute to their popularity and putting money in their pockets. And something else I want to talk about is the black men who called themselves holding Fresh and Fit accountable. Joe Budden, Young Jock, and Tank. And while I don't necessarily think you have to date a black woman to defend black women, with the exception of Young Jock, I do find it suspicious that two black men who are with mixed women and have either said something colorist or have been outed by the women they're with for being colorist are now suddenly defending black women. And I say it all the time, I do believe people can change, but in this case, it's looking very panderish, at least coming from Tank and Joe Budden. Be clear, ladies, some black men, they may not approve of the way Fresh and Fit said what they said because they know it pisses a lot of black women off and a lot of them depend on black women, but most black men still feel the way that they do, and that is something I haven't heard anybody really talking about. The Fresh and Fit mentality is the mentality of a critical mass of black men, and they are not actively trying to fix it as a collective. And I'm all for black women withdrawing their support from these kind of men, but we also need to keep in mind that covert attacks on black women aren't the only ones that matter. How are we going to contend with the fact that this mindset exists even with black men who are silent? The thousands of black men who agree with and follow cancel black men like Fresh and Fit and Kevin Samuels, the men who call themselves holding black men accountable but aren't actually with black women, because that matters. It would matter if it were you defending black men, but you had a non-black partner. Black men would call you a hypocrite. So black men pandering and defending black women just because they don't want to lose their audience and financial support, that's not enough. Black men don't deserve awards for the bare minimum, black women. And y'all can say I'm nitpicking, but I personally think that the black community outrage behind this was because Fresh and Fit said that they didn't date black women, period. They said maybe a red bone, but most likely not. So because all black women were said not to be the preference, it was an issue. If they said they didn't date dark-skinned black women, I think the response would have been different. Because the light-skinned woman who was on the panel of the response show, she said that she was moved out of a section in the club for a Latina woman. So it seems to me that the only time someone cares about black men saying this kind of stuff is when they exclude all black women. If it's just dark-skinned black women, we're usually left to defend ourselves. So that's something else dark-skinned women need to keep in mind. But one thing that this podcast showed me is that black women, for the most part, we are the only group of women who are politicizing our dating lives.
I just don't understand how somebody's sexual preference becomes like such a political issue. Like where they choose to put their dick has nothing to do with people dying every day.
Thank you. Like, bro.
And your fact, no, it doesn't. Your fact is a point. It is a fact, and it is valid.
Because people literally
will
Please let her finish. Please let her finish. Please let her finish.
People are not dying because
of their skin color.
But people are not dying because
a relationship
to sleep.
Because I want to smash a chick.
No, but it's just like their sexual preferences. Nobody's political issue. That's what he chooses to do with his life. That's what he chooses to do with his life.
That's a fact.
And it doesn't change or diminish the fact that there is a lot of blatant racism in the world and that people are dying. But one has nothing to do with the other when it comes to them. Like, who are they in this giant world?
All I just wanted to say is that to me, like, racism, like shouldn't be like a problem, but like I do understand what you're saying about how black women or black, they're getting killed every day. But I mean, I think it goes for any type of race. Like, it shouldn't just like concentrate on just the race in general. Like, everybody's always getting killed, no matter the race, color,
that would
whatever.
be beautiful
like,
if everyone thought like
because
that.
it's just your preference. Like, I think they're just over like drama, whatever that word. Like, they make it such a dramatic like situation when all they're saying is what they like.
With other groups of women, if they can find a better deal over the fence, they take it. And they do not defend their men who publicly disrespect them like we do. Black men are not thinking about slavery. They're not harping on white supremacy when they choose their partners. So black women need to do the same. And before someone puts words in my mouth, I am not suggesting that black women date racists or white supremacists. I am not suggesting that they accept mistreatment from non-black men. Just compartmentalize like black men do. Choose the ones who aren't racist. I know they don't do that all the time, but you can. Stop announcing that you only want black men because of racism, white supremacy, because they ain't doing that for you, sis. Stop embarrassing yourself. Stop making these men rich from humiliating you. And for those of you who are going to say, oh, well, Christy, you're responding. Black women need to stop responding and reacting. That's what's making them popular. It's too late, y'all. It's too late. We've already made them popular. Unless black men cancel Fresh and Fit, I highly doubt that they will be canceled. They have too many fans. And like I've said about these other really popular influencers and celebrities, black women wait to cancel somebody when it's too late. We will blindly support them. We will help build them up. Then when they get where they want to be, they start talking crazy about black women. Then we'll forgive them. We'll forgive them after one anti-black woman offense. And then when they keep doing it and we finally get enough, they become too popular to cancel. But if we never help them get to that point, to that level of popularity in the first place, then we won't have to worry about canceling. And it may sound extreme, but we're not dealing with a normal situation. And because it's a pattern at this point, we just have to assume that these black male podcasters, influencers, entertainers, celebrities, whoever they are, we have to assume that at some point they're going to say something colorist or anti-black woman. So we just have to refrain from supporting them, and especially giving them clout on social media. And enough black women have to do this to make an impact. And I am determined to get as many black women as possible to burn the cape. Because y'all really gotta be tired of going in circles with black men. You don't need any more evidence. You know how most of them feel about black women, so you gotta act accordingly. Black women's attention, our acknowledgement, our support, our outrage is currency for black men. Men like Kevin Samuels are literally millionaires because of it. So just imagine if a critical mass of us would stop following them, stop watching them, stop listening, stop calling into their shows. Do you know how much of an impact we would make? like. But black women, we're so conditioned to support black men no matter what. So much that we don't even realize we're doing it. We don't even realize when we're taking an L. But that's why channels like mine exist, to help you snap out of it. So I hope this helps. Let me know what you guys think about this down in the comment section. And I'll catch up with you in the next video.